Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video, and as you can see, I'm working in my TN about the books I'm reading this year. And let me just open up here. This is where I left off, and my next book is Long Island. This is a continuation of the book Brooklyn. They turned it into a movie with Saoirse Ronan, so if you've read the book or seen the movie, this is the next one. It's fairly recent that it's been out, and the ending of this pissed me off because I think clearly the author probably has a third book planned, I would think. If not, then I would be even more upset at this ending. I have to say, I loved Brooklyn. This one, I didn't care for as much. I don't know exactly what it is, if it's the subject matter or the timeline. I'm just not sure. So this one was kind of just in the middle for me. I'd say maybe like 3.5 stars. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was just kind of there. So take that with a grain of salt. But if you loved Brooklyn, I don't know that you're going to love this one. You might find it a little bit less satisfying. So with all that said, now I have to figure out how do I want to scrap this. I have nothing in mind really, but I do have my little baggie of phrase strips and ephemera that are book related. And then I have my whole stash of stuff here that's related to books and reading. Having looked through all my stuff, I'm contemplating something, but it would be a background paper and it's very, very busy, but the colors work for what we see here. It's this paper. I've had this for quite some time, and as you can see, I have never cut into it. And these are two-sided, so this is what's on the other side. I don't like that nearly as much. I like the color. But look at that. Like, especially right here. I think that matches quite well. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to use it or not. If I do, I definitely need to mat this with something because that is too much going on. The other thing, it's obvious I think from the photo, but the other thing I didn't mention is I actually listened to this book. So I did this one as an audiobook. The narrator was fine and everything. That wasn't an issue at all. I don't think it would change my perception of it if I had read it as a physical book rather than listened. I think my opinion is the same. I chose to cut my paper into 3 sections because this is so busy, it's unlikely I would use this for like a 6x8 as a full background. It's just way too busy, too much happening. So I feel comfortable cutting into 3 strips. So now I just have to cut it down to fit in here to the 8 inches that I need. And I kind of want to strategically place it because of the colors here that I like. So I just sort of need to play around with it. The other thing is I'm probably gonna have to trim down this photo. There's a lot of dead space at the edges that will give me more room to mat it. And maybe it'll end up being an off-white. This is kind of a cream color, but I will need to mat it, so I will trim down some of that just to make it fit better. I have trimmed down the photo quite a bit, and I have matted it, and I actually did end up going with white. It just helps it jump out a little bit more because of this cream. Like, it blends, it would have blended in too much, I think. So this just gives it a little bit of a nicer definition, I think. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to place it. I think I want it kind of like this. A little bit of that red showing, since we've got red here. And then quite a bit of this blue to offset this area. And I think I want it to more to the lower edge. So something like this. And then I've got this whole brown area up top that would be there that I can put a label over it or do something with it. I just think that's more, it's a nicer distribution, I think, of how all this looks. So that's how I'm going to cut it. Basically, this will be at the top and I'll go 8 inches from there. I have this cut down now, and I actually went slightly smaller than 8 inches just to make sure that it would fit in there nicely because it's a pretty tight fit given the corners. But I have it at the ready. Now I can adhere it inside my TN. Did I just run out of adhesive? I did. Ooh, do I have another one sitting on my desk? I do. I have a little pull-out organizer riser stand thing for my extra monitor from IKEA. And it has these handy-dandy drawers in it, which is fabulous. So now I can just take this out put in a new one, and I'm good to go. I generally try to keep at least one adhesive refill in that drawer at all times for when things like this happen. So that just proves to me that that was a very good idea. Try to get this as centered lengthwise as centered as possible. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And then this will go right on top like so. Now I can also add on the photo here. So I'm going to do that. You can see I reused a piece of scrap paper that I had something printed on, didn't like it, didn't print right something. I always reuse as much as possible. And then, yeah, I want to get as much of this lighter sort of bluish gray in there as I can and not totally cover up the red. So I think like about here will be good. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. And then whatever I do over here, I will probably put flush to the right side so that those balance out. I'm going to need a quite large tag, I think, because if I want to actually be able to journal on it, it's got to be pretty wide here. So I will go into my bag of various colored labels and see what I can find. I went through all of my labels. I started with blue, and luckily I found something I can use. I had pulled out my cards as well, thinking like, oh, I could cut something out of these if they had a good lined part of the card or something, but I don't really. Most of these, like maybe this, because it's meant to look kind of like a library checkout card, old school one. I could have done that. It's too dark though, I think. So anyway, I had them pulled out of there just in case, but I have this honking label that I think will be perfect. It's a lighter blue. It's slightly off from this more grayish blue, but I think that's fine. But look at all the space that would give me. So I think I'm going to go with that one. I just have to figure out what do I want to write. I did my journaling, and I probably should have written a little bit smaller because my last line is the furthest over kind of. It's not going to leave me much room to like cut anything off. So that's kind of my fault for the way that I chose to write it, but I think I'm just going to cut it as close to the period at the end as I can and then just attach it. And originally I thought, oh, I'll just do it by hand with my scissors. I don't think so. I want it to be fairly precise to make sure I get as close to that as possible. So I'll actually pull out my trimmer again and use that. I've cut it down. Not a lot left. This is all that was left on the end, but now I can attach this, and I think I'm going to go all the way to the right. At first I thought, oh, maybe I'll just do that so you can see the border. I think not. I think I actually want it to overlap right to the edge. I just like the look of it better. So I can do that right now. Get that done. There. I think I'll go like right about there. I think that's pretty good. All right, so I've got that. And then sometimes I like to use little pieces that are left over. Like if I put this here, would it look strange if I overlap it like that? I don't mind it, but I could also use it somewhere else. I could also use it as a flip up tab. I do photo flip ups in my normal pocket pages, and this I could potentially use as a tab for that. So you know what, actually I will save this one. I always keep on my desk a little envelope of partially used labels, so that will go in there and I can use it for something else. Because this is so busy, I want something simple for down here, I think. So I just need like a phrase. I don't need a huge piece of ephemera, like it'll be too distracting, but something like this where it's just smaller, simple phrase, call it good. Now I don't want to use this one. It doesn't match. It's not the phrase I want, but I have other things in here. So I will look through here and hopefully find something. Okay, I think I found a phrase I want. I looked through all of these and I was getting very frustrated because I wasn't finding anything that had the right sentiment, but also was the right color. And then I found this one. And I know it's more generic, but I like the fact that it says My Library Speaks volumes, because I did listen to an audiobook. So it was being spoken to me. I like the play on words there. So I think I'm going to use that because it is also the closest I found to this color. So I think I'm just going to put it down here. Looks like I didn't cut it perfectly either, but guess what? I'm going to leave it. Again, this is a TN that I know will not stay forever. I will throw it away after a while once I've kind of looked through it enough and I'm satisfied that I remember enough about the books. So I don't care if it's not cut perfectly. Oh, you know, I didn't get it quite right up to the left-hand side. I would like that. Uh-oh. If it'll come up. Shoot. Okay. Get it right to the edge there. Ah. Oh, you know, this paper is slick. I forgot about that. This is from, is it Wild Whisper it's called? And a lot of their papers are like that. It actually has a slick surface, which most papers do not. So it's a little bit different. Takes a little bit more adhesive maybe. All right, there we go. I think that's all this one needs. Wait, unless I would put like a little enamel dot or something. It does look kind of plain, doesn't it? Because like this has a little doodad. What could I do? Ooh, do I have an arrow? A little arrow thing that I could put on here? Let me check. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I found my arrow stuff and I almost used this one, but then I saw this. I'm actually going to cut off most of this and just use this part right here because it kind of matches this color here, and I love that it's got a little pattern in it. It is a little bigger than what's on here, but I don't care. I'm going to use it like that as a play button. So let's attach that right now. And what do I think? I like it. I love that it has a little bit of a pattern too, which is kind of fun. So I think this one is done. I'm not going to add any enamel dots or anything like that. It can just be flat. So here's another one finished for my books. Thanks for watching.